So would you be willing to talk about the food and the
I don't know.
thing or
Anybody's interested.
okay? Because that is a pretty common concern for many people. So
I started because I was desperate and oops, shoot. Wait, are you still there?
I'm still there.
I and my phone has tilted on me. Okay, now I don't know what's going on.
Hi, Denise. Martha, we might have to get you to sit on your hands so you don't touch anything.
Yeah, I don't know. Can you see me?
No, it's just a black screen.
All right, I might have to go back. I don't know why you can hear me and you can't see me.
Hi, Terry. Hi, Susie.
Okay, I'm gonna go out and come back in, I guess.
Okay.
If I can figure out how to do it.
You ladies in the chat are not going to believe that we had an absolutely perfect setup until, well, a couple
Yeah, until I
seconds
just
ago.
now touched it. Okay, I'm trying to get back to my email.
So okay, I'm going to remove you so that when you come back, I will enter, I'll add you to the stage. Terry, I am fine. I, well, I think maybe several of you know that I got my invoices out finally. Okay, let me add this woman back in.
Sorry about that. I will leave my.
Okay, now you promise to sit on your hands and not touch anything?
Yes, I don't know what I was trying to do. I forgot already.
Are you going to put your glasses back on?
Yes.
Yeah, looky there.
Sorry about
I
that.
I remember.
I can't read the chat either, so you'll have to tell me what everybody's saying.
Yes, yeah. So far, it's just people saying hi. I've said this before that I remember. I don't know what grade I would have been, but you know how they would do school pictures.
Yeah.
And of course, I've been wearing glasses since I was 9 years old because I'm very short sighted, stigmatism, blah, blah, blah. And so the photographer, as I was walking away, little kid that I was, the photographer said, "She looks smart." So, there was a phase there where people were wearing glasses with no prescription just to
Yeah.
look smart.
I thought that was crazy for a while. I'm like, I'll beat you. They started trying to make me wear glasses at 2, but it didn't work. I used to leave them everywhere. So
Well, that's kind of that's really early. Were they trying to fix some sort of a
no, I'm actually legally blind. And
oh,
I don't want to say it like that because I have albinism.
okay.
And they were trying to help me, I guess, see better, but the glasses don't do a lot.
Yeah.
They just make me see a little better because I'm still pretty much legally blind with them on. So
Yeah. Um anyway, I want to say hi to Gigi. Gigi's in the house too.
hi, Gigi.
Um that is that's incredibly interesting. You know, why didn't you lead with that? Like um way back when I thought that I was going to help the world, I took a social service worker program. And one of the jobs that I had after I graduated with my, freshly printed diploma was I worked at CNIB, Canadian National Institute for the Blind.
Oh.
So, of course, most of the staff members there, like the social workers, were either totally blind or partially blind or whatever. And of
Mhm.
course, they needed a few token sighted people too there
Yeah.
to do some stuff. And of course I mean, that was a long, long time ago, but I do have an appreciation for some of the tips and tricks that people use,
Hmm.
particularly people who are totally blind or maybe trying to um, differentiate their currency in their wallet or fill a cup, with hot or cold liquids. You want to know when it's full so it doesn't, overflow and so on.
Yeah.
Oh, hi, Susan. It's Susan from I Totally Love It.
Hi, Susan.
So, how in the world can you do the detailed artwork that you do if your vision is kind of subpar?
Because let me turn my fan towards me. I'm getting hot here.
Yeah,
Well,
it's 91
I
in
have,
Northern California today, so you have the right to be hot.
I have that's how I see the best is up close. And I see better up close without glasses. And so that's how, and actually there I was driving up until 2 years ago. It was a really restricted license. I had to jump through a lot of hoops to get it, but I did it and I drove for about, I don't know, 20 years maybe or a little longer. But wasn't allowed to drive at night. For a long period of time, I wasn't allowed to drive on the freeway. I wouldn't do that. I tried that a couple times and no. So if I could
Yeah,
drive like 20 to 30 miles an hour around town, I was pretty good.
yeah. For some reason, I had a technical issue and I got kicked out.
Oh,
So I don't know if you realize that or not, but um, I want to say hi to Nemo Cat 20 Creations. Is this somebody you know?
yes. And let me think. I know her name. Sorry, I can't remember it off the top of my head.
Well, please put your name in the chat just so we all know. Uh, so, of course, typically perfect vision is called 20/20, which
Mhm.
means that you can see that particular line, that bottom line, at 20 feet away from the eye chart. Some people have much better vision than that. And I've forgotten now what the definition of legally blind is. So what is it in the US?
2200. And I never was allowed to, I never could pass the eye chart. So they have these rules. I wasn't the forerunner in this. There was another legally blind man that was the pioneer, but there was some laws. You could use. I used to have these glasses that had a kind of like a jeweler wears.
Oh
So
yeah.
that's how I learned to drive using that, and also to read signs and all that. But then they passed a law, I don't know how many years later, that was very confusing. People thought you weren't allowed to wear them, but you were. But you just had to wear. If you decided to wear them, you had to. So I just quit wearing them because, the law was so confusing, and every time you went to DMV, you heard a different story.
Yeah.
Uh, but anyway, I there for a while. For several years, I had to take a driving test every 2 years, and I had to go to the eye doctor every 2 years. And there's these specific tests that you have to do for your peripheral vision, and I don't
Yes.
know all that stuff, but they used to have to fill out this paper that I could pass these certain tests, and I would always get approved. And the only reason I'm not driving now is because I had an old vehicle that it was time to replace or do something with. I couldn't afford to get a new one, and I definitely was sick of putting money in it. So
Yeah.
I sold it while it was still good enough to get some money out of to somebody who could afford to fix it up for a work truck, you know. And
Okay.
I've been on a bike and a bus and foot ever since.
That's awesome. Okay, so I think because, our audience tends to be people who are creative and
Hmm.
fellow YouTubers and so on, how, like, okay, you had me as a guest on your channel. Well, it's probably a couple of months ago now.
Yeah.
So I did my thing and you did your thing.
Hmm.
How were you able to do, like you showed yourself lifting your, whatever it is that you're working on up closer to your face? How do you do that on video then when you can't afford, when you can't have that luxury of bringing it up to your face?
Well, it depends on what I'm working on. If it's like a paper craft or something, it doesn't. I guess I've just adapted over the years. Like, you can see what this thing here,
Yeah.
CCTV, it's like a huge magnifying glass. So my biggest
Okay.
problem, I guess, is reading. I used to, when I was younger, could read a book, like any size print book. Now
Yes.
I read on my phone or my iPad because I can make it 2 inches tall if I want to.
Yeah. So,
And
yeah,
so,
that is a blessing. So, did you ever learn Braille?
no, I never had the need to learn Braille, and I never had the need to learn, like, there's a lot of programs now where you can, like, you can set up your phone and your iPad to talk to you. I never had the need for that stuff.
Well, that's great.
I did.
Um, so have you had to then just, is that, is the lower vision a reason that you work with such vibrant colors because the contrast is higher, or you just happen to love color?
Well, it might be subconsciously, but I just love color. I love all colors, you know.
Yeah.
Just it makes me happy.
Well, yes, and we can see a couple of pieces on the wall behind you, and of course, anyone who's watched your channel knows that you're constantly, it's a color explosion. And I've never sent you the invoice or anything, but you realize that you're the person that is responsible for me buying a set of those Faber-Castell Pitt pens.
Oh, I love those things. You like them?
Yes,
Oh, so, they're so
it
good.
was.
Like, if you do an acrylic painting or something, and you want to change the color, but you don't want a big glob of paint, you can use those pens to color over your acrylic in it. Oh, and then you can, like, put a sealant over it, and it doesn't hurt it. I love.
I'm just going to pull one out and hold it up to the camera so that people would know what we're talking about. It is an investment, so it might be something to put on one's Christmas list. Of course, the
They,
kits are
they
different sized.
very long time though.
Okay, so what am I doing here? Maybe I have to have it backwards. So Faber Castell,
Artist
uh,
Pitt
Pitt,
pens.
artist, pen, brush. Because
Yes.
of course, when I went to the art store, um, there were so many different. That Faber Castell makes a lot of products,
Yeah.
so they're not all of them are brush pens. So
No, they're not. I found that out the hard way, and I don't like any of the other. I don't like the tips on the other ones.
yeah, well, and because you did such a good selling job, I ended up buying some. Um, so, well, and that's how we learn about products. Because honestly, I would sooner trust a fellow artist, a fellow crafter, and their recommendation than try to wade through the promotional material or just like you know, it's like pin the tail on the donkey. Which
That's
which
kind
product is right?
of out there. I used to watch quite a bit. There's a YouTuber called Karen Campbell, and she uses a lot of mixed media. I learned about them from her, and she's the one that was talking about how that you can use them over acrylic, you can put sealant over them and it won't hurt them. And I just love them to get in there with details and change colors and stuff.
Yeah. Well, and that's a good, I hope that people in the chat or people who are watching this, whether live or in replay, make a note of that, because I think doesn't it feel to you like there's a whole new resurgence of interest in mixed media?
I don't know. I've always been. I don't know. I was a mixed media artist before I knew I was, before I knew what it was, because I would try different media and I was never happy with what one could do. I would always grab for something else. And then if that didn't work, I'd grab for something else. So in the beginning, my pieces always had something more than one media. And then I started hearing, oh, I'm a mixed media artist. That's what I am. It just
And
came,
then you realize that that label and $5 could get you coffee.
yeah. And then I realized there was a whole slew of YouTube videos about that subject. So,
Well, and that the scope of what qualifies as a medium is so broad, and
yeah,
the possible combinations is probably infinite. So that's why when you won the contest for Masterboard Madness, I knew you needed that book.
yeah. And that's what's fun about mixed media. You can use things that are not really meant for art supplies. So,
Yeah, which helps stretch our budgets.
yeah.
So, um, what like how do you structure your day or your week in terms of your art practice? Do you show up in your space like a good little soldier, put in a good day's work, or is it more random than that?
It's random. I cannot be structured because, well, for one thing, that's not my personality. And also, I have to be in the mood and I have to feel like it. And there's a lot of days I don't feel good because sometimes I struggle to sleep and then I've had trouble with my back and legs sometimes. So some days I can't do nothing but sit and watch YouTube videos or read a book. So
Yeah. Well, and if you know anything about, and this is directed at anybody who's listening, if you know anything about Julia Cameron, who wrote The Artist's Way, she is a big proponent. I hope she's still alive. I saw her, she happened to be in Edmonton a few years ago. I think that was before COVID, and she was very frail at that point. She was also, trivia, was married to Martin Scorsese, the film director.
mm,
Anyway, an artist in her own right, like a writer, obviously, a musician, a composer. But she always said that those of us that are in the uh, creative, are following a creative pursuit, that we need to prime the well. We need to uh, re I can't think of the best word here, but she recommends regular artists, what she calls artist dates. So it's when we, on our own, not with a spouse, not with a kid, not with a friend, we just do something that is going to renew our creative soul. And that can mean, browsing in a bookstore, going to a fabric store and touching all the all the materials. um
yeah.
who knows, thrifting is probably fits there as well, going to a museum, going to an art gallery, being in nature, doing whatever it is that is going to um just refill the well so that we have more to give and more to create.
Yeah, you can get inspiration and from anywhere, and you can learn from anybody, you know. So
Yes, I totally share that belief. Um, okay, so you don't show up and put in a good full day's amount of work. You work kind of when your health and the spirit moves you.
yeah,
So, do you have a great big long to-do list? Because, or do you just
keep
not put
it.
that pressure on yourself?
No, I keep. I do make lists sometimes, but most of the time things are in my head because I'll tend to lose the list or forget where I, what book is it? Did I write it in? Or, you know, sometimes I'm better about that, but sometimes not, you know.
But it sounds like you're pretty chill, that you don't put a lot of pressure on yourself, because I think that is almost a downfall or a hazard to having a YouTube channel,
Yeah,
because there's so much implied pressure. Keep those videos coming. Be on
that's
social media.
that's one reason I don't do as many collabs and swaps and all that stuff as I used to try to do because it was like being in school and I'm in my 60s now. I don't want to. I went to college late in life, and that pressure about killed me. And I am not bringing up this part of my life. So
So I believe that you mentioned in, well, probably when I was a guest on your channel, that you did go to art school. So do you want to talk a bit about that and tell us
well, it wasn't
what
real
you studied?
school, but I went. First started out at my local community college, not knowing what the heck I was doing. And I was in school for probably 20 years. But I finally figured out, okay, I want to be an art teacher. And so I got all the credits I needed to transfer to Sacramento State here in Sacramento, which is about, I don't know, 45 minutes to an hour away from me. And it wasn't really art school. I just took classes as much as I could with art because my original major was art studio, and then pretty close to the end, I changed it to art education because, well, with my vision, I couldn't get to some of the classes when they wanted me there. And I couldn't be a teacher because for the same reason. So I just took the art education degree and left. So and and
So,
I
so
was
did you,
tired.
oh, sorry.
Yeah, but
Did
that
you ever work?
sorry.
I was going to say, did you ever work in the field of art education?
No, I never did. I because I wanted to go to school to learn more how to make art, how to do art, and to be honest, I spent more time learning algebra and essay writing and art history and social uh, science and all that good stuff because they make you do all the other stuff too. So you kind of just have to fit a little art class here and there.
Yeah. Well, they want people to turn out to be well-rounded,
Yeah.
students or whatever. But so did you take enough? Because, I would say that I fall in the same category. My daughter was about to start grade one, and I thought to myself, you know what? I think I could paint, but as long as I never put a brush to paper, like I was a genius, I was brilliant. And I thought, get on with it. Like, put your money where your mouth is. So I started registering for courses. Most of them through like just an artist run school type thing, but one course leads to another, and so on. So I think that it's almost like jumping in the deep end, because you, and I think also as adult students, we are more motivated to get our money's worth because it's our money that's paying for this. So you want to get to class, you want to get as much out of it as possible. Um, the funny thing about that first class, it was called Basic Fundamentals, and the woman said in the first class, and she was a la-di-da, famous, well, somewhat famous, I guess, New York artist. She had fallen in love with some guy from Alberta and moved to Edmonton. And of course, she loved the Rockies and so on. And that was a lot of her subject matter. Anyway, she was originally from New York. Anyway, first day of class, she says, and remember, I'm a firstborn, a type A personality. She says, and I'm not going to teach you how to paint pretty pictures. I'm going to teach you how to see. And you're going to have fun. And week after week, and of course, I'm driving into the city, which is like an hour and plus away. And I'm thinking, well, when the hell is the fun going to start? Why do I have a tension headache every week? But I was like, maybe like my grade 1 daughter. You don't want to be the dumb one in class. You don't want to make mistakes. You want to please the teacher. You don't want to waste your time or your supplies. It took a heck of a long time to get over that feeling.
Oh yeah, those teachers can. My last semester before I graduated, I had met all of my prerequisites to graduate. I had, I think, one class, maybe two, I don't remember. I thought, okay, this is the fun year. I'm going to take it easy. I'm going to start creating what I want, not the homework that they give me. And the teacher, it was a class that you sign up for. It's like, it's kind of the teacher leads you, but you're the only person, I don't know how to explain it, but
you worked on your own projects.
Yeah, I worked on my own.
Each student worked on their own thing.
I was in a class setting, but not with the class that was there. So I started drawing the stuff I wanted. I started having fun, and she's like, I don't like that. And I'm thinking, that's why I'm here, so that I can like it. And you can like it if you know how to do it. But anyway, I started doing things like I knew that she would like she loved stuff that was hatch and cross hatch and all of that.
Oh yeah.
So I started doing those. They're tedious, and so she used to just depressed me. Oh yeah, I remember there was another class that depressed me too. It was just, I didn't like either class. It was just miserable, but I got through it. I've enjoyed what I learned, but it was hard.
I think that you're not the first person to tell a story like that. And I just wish that some of these people would be a little kinder, a little more open-minded, and more supportive and whatever.
And honest, I think, well, it's kind of what I learned in art classes. I learned about some materials. I learned shading. I learned light source,
composition,
form, and all that. But
yeah,
they didn't teach you how to go about it. A lot of times, you just had to figure that out yourself. Basically, I mean, they might do one little lesson, like show you one little project, where the whole class is watching, but from there you're doing it yourself basically. If it hadn't been for YouTube, I don't think I would have grasped a lot of that, and I don't think I would have learned as much as I learned, because a lot of my education came from YouTube.
Yeah. Is acrylics your first love?
Well, it used to be just drawing. My favorite thing was just drawing with a pencil, but I kind of grew over the years. I think acrylics is my first love, but I love adding paper with it. I love adding bling with it. I love adding lace with it, just whatever.
So the projects that you like, you wake up in the morning and you think, I can't wait to get into my space and create. So are you typically creating art pieces or journals, or is it a hybrid of some sort?
Just whatever. I love it all. I love making journals. I love making just acrylic paintings. I love watercolor. I just love it all. And there's some things that I kind of see people doing. I'm thinking maybe I should give it a try. And I'm like, no, you got to know. You're not
Yeah.
buying more supplies. Forget about it.
So, do you, well, I know from as we were playing around with camera angles before we went live that you, I think, have a quite a small space, right? Because you're making your art fit like within your living space.
Yeah, I have like a galley kitchen with an area that's supposed to be for a dining table. And I don't have a dining table. I have three tables around me, kind of in a horseshoe, and I have all kinds of shelves underneath. I have art supplies here and there and everywhere.
Like all the rest of us.
So I just got rid of some stuff that I really didn't want to mess with. I had bought a Cricut, I don't know how long it's been, year and a half ago, 2 years. I used it 3 times and I said, I hate this. So
Yeah,
I sold it. I
good for you.
tiny little Sizzix die cutter, and I'm like, I don't like die cutting. I like the way they look when they're done, but I hate doing it. So I had a giveaway on my channel and gave it away with all the dies.
I love hearing this because I, and maybe it comes with getting old and maybe wiser. I think our spaces should serve us than the other way around.
Yes.
If you would, if it brings more joy to you to have three tables and a whole bunch of stuff so that you can create stuff, if that brings you joy versus having a dining table, and you know the story about dining tables, most of them get used twice a year. So
Well,
you're
I
you're making your space work.
I lived in a bigger apartment, and they wanted me to move to the smaller one because they wanted that one for a family. So I basically had to move here. So I had a bedroom, my daughter's old bedroom. That was my art studio. And I'm like, what am I going to do? And that's when I came up with this idea, because I didn't use my dining table anyway. I might use it for to catch things. I might use it for, like, if I had a big art project, I'd go over there and work. But that was basically it.
Yeah. And the other thing I think you should I feel like I should have medals or something to award people. So you'd get one for making your space work for you rather than you working for your space. And the other thing that I like of what you said is that um, if I don't want to do it, I'm not going to do it. you know? So I think that honestly, there is so much implied pressure with YouTube, Instagram, um, Pinterest, what Facebook, whatever, all those people doing all those things. And I think it's like, well, if I haven't tried that and been successful at it, then obviously there's something wrong with me, as opposed to, I don't want to do that. I want to do what I want to do, and I
Yeah.
want to do it in my way. So I'm glad that you follow that sort of an approach. I just want to say hi to Carol from Crinkled Path.
Hi, Carol.
Susan says Hazel's Academy Awards. Best use of a small space. Best use of rubber totes. So now you've said already that you don't drive because of your vision. And you had a bit of, you told me before we went live that you had a little bit of mobility issues. So does that mean that you, unlike so many of us, don't go thrifting?
I don't go thrifting a lot, and it's mainly because I got enough crap. Just about, I don't need more crap. But once in a while, you get the itch, Like, I haven't been to
Yeah.
the store in months, but I'm kind of getting the itch to go see what's new. And
Yeah.
so I kind of made myself, I used to do a lot of haul videos, Temu, Dollar Tree, Hobby
Yeah.
Lobby. And I finally realized you have enough stuff, girl. You need to use it up before you start dragging any more in. So I don't do a lot of hauls. Like, I might get some glue I need or some paper I need, but
Yeah. The supplies that actually get used up and need replacing,
yeah.
as to more, as I wanted to draw or just share with you what Susie said. And this was, I guess she typed this in when we were talking about art teachers. Art is so diverse and up for criticism or admiration. Depends on each individual's point of view. English was like that too when it came to writing. The teacher's personal opinion can make or break.
Absolutely.
And yeah, that I've had many rants about that too, that we can either raise each other up with our comments or we can cut people down, and that's everyone from preschoolers to our peers, by saying something kind of dumb or judgmental.
Well, that art teacher I was telling you about, she told me one of my pieces looked, I don't remember the words she used exactly. She said, "Do you know what that means?" I said, "Kitschy?" She said, "Yes." And so that means ugly and gaudy and like, I don't even know. And I thought, well, I love that kind of stuff. And I
You
almost,
know, oh,
I almost
sorry.
named my channel the Kitschy Queen. I thought nobody knows what kitschy means. So I don't even want
Yeah.
to.
You know what? I'm almost convinced now that anyone who becomes an art teacher probably had to do a module on vocabulary, and one of the words they teach them is kitschy. And another word that they use in a disparaging way is artists who are commercial. In
Yeah.
other words, artists who actually sell their stuff, as
Yeah.
opposed to being so avant-garde that nobody understands it, likes it, or would pay the millions of dollars for it. So, oh my goodness. Hi,
Yeah.
Hope.
I think
Hope.
she was trying to teach us how to be in an art museum. And I guess I
Yeah.
kind of do that realism stuff, but they burnt me out. And now I just want to be as whimsical and quirky as I can be. Like, if I
And
draw an
it's your
elephant with
right.
trunks, I'm going to do it.
Yeah. Um, Now, one of the things that we talked about before, um, before we went on, and I I said, to Martha, do you, oh, by the way, way back at the start of the chat, for those of you who may not know, Martha's channel is Martha Makes Art, and I did put that in the chat. And hopefully everyone has subscribed to her channel and is giving this video a like. And of course, same thing applies if you're catching this on replay. Anyway, one of the things that we talked about prior to going on was the fact that uh, she was sort of like all of us, had her back against the wall and needed to lose some weight. So do you just want to talk about that a little bit because I'm willing to bet my dollars to donuts that everyone in the chat has had a weight issue of one degree or another, one
Okay.
way or another, all of our female lives, and let's help celebrate, your weight loss.
Okay, well, about I wasn't skinny by no means, never have been all my life. But about the pandemic, I gained weight. And then I just slowly kept putting on more. I had been through a very hard, painful divorce. And I just kept getting bigger and bigger. And like last year, I'd say about October, maybe November through January, it was just getting harder and harder to get around, to walk. It was very painful just to walk to the bathroom. And I knew that low carb, high protein worked because I had tried it before a little bit, enough to lose some weight. I don't even know how much. But some YouTuber, she is a fitness channel. She's called Consume the Goodness. She referred me to a couple of other channels that really, it made it click. So, okay, I did it wrong before. I had the right idea, but I did it wrong. I was still eating too much and too much of the wrong thing. And so I started doing low carb. I started cutting out sugar. I started cutting out bread, which I do occasionally have some bread. It's not set in stone. I don't eat much fruit. I eat it occasionally. I don't eat any rice, maybe occasionally. I haven't had any in probably 2 months. But anything that's carb based or processed, I try not to eat it. I try to eat as clean and low, non-processed as possible. So it's more of a meat heavy, low carb diet. I try to get fat because fat keeps you full. That's a lie about cutting fat. And because fat does not make you gain weight, it keeps you full, so you don't eat as much. And I'm living proof of that so far, anyway. But so I went through a journey of finishing up what I already had in the house, and then starting like buying what I needed and getting rid of things. I just the other day threw away a 4-pound bag of sugar that had never been opened. I'm like, I'm never going to use it. Why keep it? And so it's just been a process. And each month I get a little better and buy a little different. And as of this morning, I had lost 32 pounds. And that seems like a really slow, because for me, I already want to be down 100 pounds, but my body has to do what it's going to do. And just, I'd say I've been trying to exercise some along the way, but it's been too painful because I had a problem. Well, I have a problem with my leg and my back, and I still can't walk very far or very long without resting and sitting down. So, but I just went to the ortho doctor yesterday, so he's going to see if he can do something to help with that. I mean, it's much, much better than it was in January when I bought that cane. I don't even try to use that anymore. I don't need it. But
Well, and I think you should be congratulated. And we also talked about, one of the dangers of this crafty creative pursuit is that it tends to be very sedentary. So unless we remind ourselves, even set an alarm or something, because who among us hasn't sat down and then you look up, probably haven't been blinking either, but you look up and at a clock and realize, well, you've been here for 3 hours and haven't moved,
that's
so that is not good. They say that sitting is the new smoking in terms of its health risks. And I know that I'm guilty as can be of that. So, yeah, I just thought that people would be interested in hearing that, you know,
And I have to
that
say,
you,
the thing that has made me do this long is because I am eating fat and I am eating protein, and my body is more satisfied. So I don't have all those cravings. Oh my God, the cravings I used to have. I thought I was the only person that went through that, but I apparently,
no.
and like, you can't buy a bag of chips without eating the whole bag. You can't buy a box of cookies without eating them all. That was me.
Well, and besides improving your mobility, the other big payoff for you has been the increase in energy.
Yes.
You
And
said that you're far more motivated to do things.
one of the things that has helped me too is even though I wasn't able to walk very well, sometimes I could ride a bike. And sometimes it was hard, but it was easier than walking sometimes because I'm sitting down. And so that's what I've been trying to make a habit of this summer. I usually wake up anywhere from 3:30 to 5:30 in the morning. I go outside with my little folding chair, leave the door open for the cats to run in and out, and I just walk around and come back to my chair and sit down, walk again. And sometimes I'll just get my bike out and ride it around for 20 or 30 minutes. And I mean, I don't do it every day, but it's getting more regular than it was. And you have to do it in the morning here because it's too hot to do anything in the afternoon outside.
Yeah. So no, I've already did I oh my good okay. Jennifer from Nemo Cat is saying congrats, Martha, and that
Thank
she lost 30 pounds a few years ago. I admit I lost my weight and went back to bad habits. I will get back again though. You know, my I have a peculiar way of looking at things, and some of you I think appreciate my weird sense of humor. But when you were talking about that unopened 4 pound bag of sugar, I was thinking, I wonder if the day will ever come when police are raiding people's houses and seizing sugar the way they do heroin and cocaine.
you.
Because honestly, in research, they have proven
It is
that,
addictive.
yeah, that it is more like to rats, it is more addictive. Sugar is more addictive than heroin. So, yeah, let's have some raids on sugar canisters.
And it's in the, for me, I don't know about everybody, but it's even the sugar in fruits. Because, like I said, I don't eat much fruits, but when I do, I can tell I want more. The next day, it's a little bit of a struggle not to eat more.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, and obviously, we're not doctors, we're not prescribing anything,
No.
and hope, obviously everyone has to make their own decisions. But I think the interesting part here is that it the changes you've made have helped your art practice, which is what we do care about.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know because Carol, Crinkled Path Carol, talked about it, and I don't know if maybe posted. I don't think she had a video, but she was one of the people that has, at least on one occasion, met up with some of you other California
Yeah.
YouTubers.
Yes, I met Carol. She's very.
So, how many of those meetings or get-togethers have you gone to, and what was your favorite takeaway from that experience?
Um, well, when I first started, it was just me and Patty from Life with Patty and Joyce from Mrs. Peach's Thrifty Living. And we just kept adding more people, and some people show up, some people don't. But it's, I like it because these people are, some of them are really close to me. So it's like having friends that I didn't know I had, meeting people that I never would have met. And it's like a connection and a closeness. And it also make, like you watch a YouTube video, it makes this person real to you. So and it's just fun. We get there, we laugh, we talk, we always bring each other a little gift, usually maybe something handmade or something bought, you know, and it's just a lot of fun. Sometimes you leave and you feel like you just had Christmas, you know.
Well, I've been fortunate enough to join a group about an hour and a half away from where I live, and I think and I've also had the opportunity, the blessing of meeting fellow YouTubers. And
Yeah.
I would say that the best part of it all, yeah, there's loot, but the best part is the fact that these are kindred spirits. We
Yeah.
don't have to explain, we don't have to justify. We talk in shorthand because we know what the other person means. We're struggling with the same stuff, like, you know, clutter, too much, organizational problems, and it's just like, it's like we found our people.
Yeah, and another thing too, you get to discuss the ins and outs of YouTube. Nobody else wants to hear that. Your
Yeah,
sister, your daughter, they don't
yeah,
care.
exactly, exactly. So, you know, and I know that after I went to my first junk journal group, we're now called the
Oh,
Odd Page Society, because it was kind of close to Dead Poet Society. Anyway, I did a video about that, and I basically was encouraging anybody within the sound of my voice to think about starting a group like that, because yeah, it's a pain in the butt, you know, be the organizer, be the leader, whatever, but it also has so many benefits that I just think you know, it's worth it, especially if there aren't any people in your immediate vicinity who understand who you are, what you're doing, and why you're doing it. Because I think that can add to a feeling of isolation, like,
yeah.
where the people around you may be rolling their eyes and, wondering like what's up with her. It's nice to get validation from other people who get it.
Yeah, and it's Carol. We need to come up with a name for our group.
And what Carol is saying in there, it was so fun, but I've only made it to one. COVID and a funeral kept me from the last two. So,
Well, she'll get
um,
with us, and yeah, I keep adding people. If I meet somebody online that's close enough to come where we've been meeting, I'll invite them, and then I'll tell the other girls, I hope you don't mind. I invited so and so.
so are you the brainchild behind this group?
No, actually, Patty and Joyce had met before. I don't even know, they had been out a couple of times to a lunch or something before they met me. Well, actually, I met them. I joined. What happened was Life of Patty. Patty, she used to have a collab called Artesian Journal. So I wanted to join in. I started watching her videos. I'd heard of her before, but I just uh wasn't watching her videos. But then she started talking about in her video things that I recognized. And I said, you must live really close to me from the things you're saying. And she does, she lives, I think it's maybe 25 miles from me. So she said, we got to meet for lunch. And so we did. And she brought another YouTuber that I didn't know anything about. And that's how it started. You know, they started.
Okay, I'm trying to, because we should always, extend and help each other. So I'm trying to type this into the chat. So you said Patty, Patty,
With an I.
uh, IE.
No, with just an I. Patti.
Okay, and is it at Life of Patty?
Life with Patty.
Oh, Life with Patty. See, that's how rumors get started. Life with Patty. And then the other person you mentioned was a Joyce?
Joyce, her channel is Mrs. Peach Thrifty Living.
So these are not live links, people, but at least they'll be in the chat if a person wants to write it now.
They invited another lady. I don't know if I can get her channel right, though. Her name is Daphne. And I think her channel's name is My Mountain Home and Kitchen, something like that. And so then I invited Carol, and then I invited Nikki, and so, and then I don't know if I'm the one invited Kim. Maybe Patty did. I don't remember, but somebody invited Kim. She travels the farthest to come.
I just want to acknowledge Ellie. She says, you are right about discussing YouTube. I probably drive my sisters nuts talking about crafters. Hi, everyone. I'm new. So welcome, Ellie. I'm glad you're here.
Welcome, Ellie.
Oh, yeah. Kim's Inspired Life. Okay.
Yes, I'm sorry. Kim's Inspired Life. I didn't say her channel.
And that came from Carol.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's, you know, and I think for a while there was a bit of an emphasis on really tagging and naming and talking up other people. And I know that I've fallen down on that. And I think so have many other people. So it's kind of nice when we get to do a bit of name dropping and remind people that there are others outside our own little, what we're watching with our blinders on.
Yeah,
so
it surprises me when I discover a new channel and I go to make a comment and everybody that's already commented, I know what channel they are. I'm like, why didn't I know about this channel before now? You guys are here.
Yeah. Yeah. Why doesn't anyone ever tell me anything? So I know that you had a little bit of, you know, kind of felt a little bit of an energy slump and said earlier that you weren't doing as many lives. But I know that I was flattered to be invited to be on your channel. Well, no, that's not quite right. I tuned into a live. I was in the chat, and you asked for people to say if they wanted to be with the chat, and I followed up and I wrote to you, and then we made it happen. So, and I have to say, like, I kind of want to give you credit for helping me make the decision to really, you know, learn StreamYard and start doing this, because I think there's some real benefit in the immediacy of it. When I first started watching YouTube, and I don't think there were nearly as many lives back in the day, and I would look at them and I would see, these people have been talking to each other for 4 hours. Like, are they nuts? And now I'm one of them.
Well, I had really hard time starting. I mean, I did one for about 45 minutes and I was a nervous wreck. I was practically sweating bullets. But I did it. I didn't know what I was doing. And I did not do another one for 4 months till Jovi at Creating with Jovi invited me to go with her on her channel. And I did, and it broke something off of me. And after that, I started doing lives like crazy. I loved it. I love the connection, chatting with others. I especially love it when I have a guest, because you can bounce things off of each other and you're not trying to think of everything yourself. And so,
and it's so much more immediate than comments. And of course, we all love comments, but you know, by the time you reply, it's not instant. Okay, and Carol is saying, Martha, she wants you to try to help her remember the new channel that came in spring.
The new channel for who?
Well, that I guess came to your group meeting.
Oh, that was Nikki. at it's Lil Crafty Nook, like Lil Crafty
Oh, how do you spell Nikki?
Nikki.
And what is it? Lil
Lil
Craft
Crafty Nook.
Nook?
Yeah, Nook.
Okay. We're just giving people all sorts of people to check out here. That's great. And Susie is saying that she loves lives and the interaction. So,
Yeah.
and of course, Susie is one of those really supportive people of all of us. So it's, we love having you in the chat for
And
sure.
for the little channels that are looking to get monetized, that's the way to go. That's one reason I was doing lives so often, other than the fact that I loved it, that it helps you get so many hours, you get monetized faster, and you get new subscribers. I don't get as many as I used to. I think people forgot about me when I quit doing as many. It's you meet a lot of new friends. They're not all crafters. It's just a nice like community that you build for your channel.
Yeah. Well, and it's nice when people support each other, like reciprocate.
Yes.
And I know that we can't all watch and do everything. Teresa's here. Um, oh, she
I think,
calls me hashtag life coach Hazel.
oh,
Um, she says, sorry I'm late and that she can't stay long and she'll catch the replay. She's going to City Hall tonight. We are on a mission.
who
So,
with Teresa?
Teresa DeFredo.
I don't think I know
Ter-
her.
oh my goodness. She is, I don't know if we were giving out prizes for the most observant a viewer or the most she's just full of stories and trivia as well. So her comments are always very very much worth checking out. And hopefully now, and Teresa, when you look back through the chat, you'll see we've thrown out a bunch of other um, we threw out a bunch of channel names in the chat, so there are new people that I'm becoming aware of as well. Um, Carol, Carol wrote, I just call the group NorCal YouTubers.
No.
She says we definitely need a cuter name.
Yeah.
I just glanced at that and I thought she was tying it back to the talk about diet and weight loss. I thought she wrote no cal,
Oh.
like no calories. Oh
We,
dear.
when we get together again, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, we had actually someone in our group took the initiative. We correspond by, well, there's a Facebook group, but me and Facebook or Facebook and I are not friends. So we also have an email thing, and this one person probably brainstormed about 6 different group names and just sent it out to the mailing list. And yeah, and then when we were together, we voted. It wasn't very official or anything, but it was fun, and and everyone's on side now.
We communicate by group text.
Okay. So how are you one of those people? I know that you helped me out with a little tech support on Canva. So would you consider yourself pretty tech savvy?
What I do is get in there and play and figure stuff out. Sometimes I figure it out, sometimes I don't. I did. Um, I wouldn't say I was really techie. I had a lot of like used to be Word Perfect. I had a lot of those classes. I've had some Word. I've had a lot of classes, and then I had like just everything I did in college. You had to do it on a computer, so sometimes if you just had to figure it out or forget about it, and a lot of times I could figure things out, maybe not the right way, but a way to get by, you know.
Yeah. Teresa is saying, Martha, you do beautiful work. I enjoy watching. I've caught some of your lives.
Oh, thank
So yeah, keep your eyes peeled now for her comments
you. Now
because
that you said that, it seems like I remember. But you know, you see a lot of people. It's hard to remember everybody. So, you know, I'm sorry.
and I sorry, Carol is again, and I'm just pulling your chain, Carol. I know that that's on Thursdays in her community. They have a special on Thursdays. They have a special on burgers and fries, and they also now have live music and dancing. So that's when the family goes out. So she's torn. She's always torn between this and that family outing. So I totally get you, and I'm so glad you got here for at least part of this. And of course, she will watch the replay as well. But yeah, I'm sure, it's especially, it's nice that she has met you in person because that
Yeah.
makes the interview even more important, I think, in a person's mind. Um, Now you mentioned that you don't do as many collabs and swaps and all of that as you did at one time.
Yeah.
So do you like what are you taking part in anything right this moment?
Yeah, I have my own 3 collabs that I do. I like one of them is called Make Art with Martha, and once a month, usually on the 20th, I give out a prompt word for people to make anything they want. They can make a journal, a painting, a drawing, and whatever they want. Just use the prompt, tag me and the hashtag so I can watch it and comment. And then if they do the hashtag, other people can go check it out too. Then there's one called Shuffle Cut Create. That's where I do a prompt on the 25th. Well, I take 2 decks of cards and shuffle them. They have prompt words on them, so there's basically 2 prompt words to make something. Same rules, anything you want. And also, if no one's ever done this yet, you can throw one of the words away and add your own, or you could make 2 pieces with each word. The other one is called Kitty Cat Coloring, which I haven't done in ages, but other people do it. Is just color a kitty cat, do the same, and or draw one and color it. Because there for a while in my lives, I was doing a lot of coloring, and so I
Because
came up with that.
you've got those awesome pens, those Faber Castells.
And then
Okay. Oh, sorry. I just want to ask something about this. So, Make Art with Martha, you said is on the 20th of the month.
yeah.
And and are you familiar with Susan from I Totally Love It?
Yes, I love
So
Susan.
so you promote it through her Sunday news?
I think she announced something. I don't know if she has all of them or not.
Okay, I just wanted to put in that little plug and connection in case you didn't know. And then Shuffle Cut Create is on the 25th of every
Yeah,
month.
yeah.
So I know that at one point I created my own little prompt cards. So what kind of stuff do you have on yours? Are they a type of medium, or are they a topic, or are they like
They're
what
u-
do you have?
they're usually like, well, say this month for Make Art with Martha, it was blooms. So it's usually a noun. And
Okay.
same thing with the Shuffle Cut Create. But next month, I've already picked it out. Well, it's actually this month. I get confused. I do them late in the month because there's always a lot going on in the first of the month. And it gives me time to work on my projects. But the one for this month is going to be a little more, not a lot, but a little more ambiguous. You know,
Oh,
not exactly a noun. It's not, it's more of a, I would say an adverb maybe.
so this is the first cliffhanger we've had here on Heart to Heart with Hazel. You're making people tune in on the 25th to find out, is it a noun, is it an adverb, and what will it be? Okay, that's cool. And then what else what were you starting to say when I so rudely interrupted?
Oh, you were asking me what things I participate in. I did Penny at Penny's Crafty Creations. I did Deck the Year for I think 2 years, and I said I wasn't going to do it this year, but I did start doing it again. But I've only done one video, so I'm not going to be doing a card for every week, definitely. But she said it was okay. And I
Yeah.
recently discovered a channel. It's called her name is Amanda, and the channel is called Scrimping Mommy. She's from
Oh,
the
yes. Isn't she fun?
and she's been doing these art journaling. She gives you the printouts and like the images and everything, and you just print it and come up with it the way you want. And she started
Yeah.
a new one too. I don't know if I'm going to join that one. See, what else am I
Yeah.
doing? Oh, coming Sunday, me and Jennifer at Scrapbooks and Memory, we've been known to do collabs and swaps together for a couple of years now. And we have one coming out Sunday. It's called, what is it called? Art and Swap 2025. And I put a call out for people to, I think there was only, I don't know, I think there's 6 or 7 of us, counting me and her. We didn't get as many as we wanted, but we have enough. Anyway, what you do, you make a collage or an art mixed media piece or a painting, and you have 3 sizes to choose from, and you swap it. We have swap partners, and this Sunday on Father's Day, it is this Sunday, right?
Yes.
We're going to reveal what our swap partners sent to us.
Okay, so it's winding down.
Yes, and let me tell you, my swap partner already peaked. It's gorgeous.
Another cliffhanger. I think it was before we went live, you were talking, or maybe it was since we've been on the air. You talked about you don't really maintain to-do lists, that it's all up here.
Most.
So what have you, or do you set goals for your art practice, for your channel? And is there something upcoming that you want to announce?
Well, I don't really have anything. Most of the time, it's just something I see I want to do. I do it. I don't really plan it. I try to keep on my YouTube channel like a watch list or a what you call it, process videos. So if it's something I think, well, I want to do that later, sometimes I'll go back and find it and try to
Yeah.
do it. But I usually don't write it down. Like I said, sometimes I'll write things down if I get too many things in, too many irons in the fire. But most of the time, it's just I try to be casual about it. And the only thing coming up is Jovi at Creating with Jovi. We have decided she likes to do my Shuffle Cut Create collab. So we did the prompts on the last Friday on her channel. So we enjoyed it so much, we said, well, let's make this a regular thing. So we've decided the first Friday of every month, we're going to be on her channel creating a piece for the prompts of Shuffle Cut Create. And we're going to, I'm going to have to ask her, since you told me how to do that, can I replay it on my channel?
Yeah. Yeah, well, yeah, you have a couple of options, and hopefully one of them is going to work for you so that you can have the replay of, well, any video, as well as, of course, this one too. Now, some things that have come up in other interviews, this is the 8th episode, by the way. I don't know if I said that at the beginning. Would you consider yourself an introvert?
Yes, very much.
Yeah, that seems to be where most of us fall. And what about, how do you feel about purple?
Purple. Well, like I said, I love all colors, but purple is, I don't know, it's just got it's not something that I gravitate towards, but sometimes I'll see something purple and I'm like, oh my God, that's gorgeous. my phone case is purple. So it just,
So you're a purple lover by association,
yeah.
because there are a few of us in the crowd that love purple. So um, I do want to just remind people that next week the guest is going to be Julie from Day Trip Vintage Co. So obviously, I want to invite all of you to tune in for that. And then the week after, to draw June to a close. I cannot believe that half the year is nearly gone. I
No.
don't know how that happened. Is Jean from Lizzie Jean's Artistic Chaos. So, oh, Ellie loves all shades of purple, lilac, lavender, orchid, amethyst. Okay, you found your peeps. That's awesome. Um, so, and I did want to ask people a question as we start winding down here. I invited Cara Mia to be to take the last, whichever, I can't remember the date now, the last available spot in July. And I was away yesterday, so I haven't replied to your email, but I wanted to talk to you guys. And maybe I could put a poll on my channel, but and it was Carol's suggestion to sort of stick with these lives on Thursday. Like, I do the live sale with Sandy Wilhelmina on the first Thursday of the month, and then all the rest of the Thursdays are heart to heart with Hazel. But Cara Mia, now again, I didn't clarify this because I didn't reply to her yet, said that Thursdays don't work for her, but Friday would. So please, in the chat, tell me, will it be confusing, annoying, okay, or however you feel about it, to have the date change periodically? Or is there something, does it make it easier to remember if we're always on the same day and time? So if you wouldn't mind weighing in on that, because I don't, I think she would be a lovely person to interview, but I think we're still in the building process of, building awareness and so on. And I'm kind of a little bit reluctant to change the date, but I want to see what you guys say, because obviously it's all about you. So Terry is saying that Friday's work for her is just fine as long as it's posted.
Yeah, that's what
So
I think it's okay, just as long as you let people know we're going
yeah,
to play on Thursday, but occasionally.
yeah. Well, and I don't see anybody else really answering the question, so I don't know. I might just do a poll before I get back to Cara Mia. And it could also be that maybe her work schedule changes periodically, and maybe she's on a routine of some kind where, I don't know. I'll just take that up with her, I guess. So Martha, what as we begin winding down here, did I forget to ask you something that you really were hoping you'd get to talk about? Is there anything you want to say?
I don't think so, no.
Is there any advice? Okay, just a minute. Jennifer saying, I agree, keep it at the date, but if it's someone you want, change if needed. And then Susie says, I like a regular date if you make a special note that there is a change. So I will see what I can do. So if there was somebody brand new to this whole art thing in the audience, what is the most important? Well, and of course, you don't have to limit yourself to one thing. But what would you like to like? What would you like to say to a newcomer? Something maybe that you've learned the hard way, or something that you wish that the younger you would have known earlier and save yourself time and grief and money.
That when you first start, you don't need every supply out there. You start with what you got and you build a little bit at a time. Also, you're not going to be, I mean, some people might be, but most people are not going to be that great for a while and maybe never, but they will improve and they will get better. And also, you can learn from anybody, and I mean anybody, someone that's not as skilled as you, somebody who's more new at it than you. You can learn from everybody because everybody learns different things at different times. Um, just keep at it. If you want to learn something, if it doesn't come easy, like for example, I tried making rosettes, I don't know, 3, 4, or 5 times, and they always came out looking like, you know. But I kept at it and I figured it out, and I haven't made one since. So, and I did it without a die cut machine. So it's just conquer it. Just keep at it.
Yeah. Well, and what I would add to what you said, like when you said that, people don't necessarily start out very talented or whatever. I think the same, you don't have to be a beginner to also find that most projects will enter that ugly phase where you
I,
think, oh my goodness, let me squash this up and throw it across the room.
and it
But we
doesn't
need to,
matter.
yeah,
It
we
doesn't matter
need to
what
hang
you
in.
are. Sometimes you are going to make a piece of crap. Sometimes
Well, and crap is okay. But
you
I think that more often than not, if you just maybe walk away, look at it in a day or two, or, keep at it if you're in the right mindset. But I think most of us have also figured out a way to salvage a piece or to take it to the next level. And eventually you have enough faith in the process that yeah, it's in the ugly phase now, but this ugly duckling is going to turn into a swan
you
if I
don't
just hang in.
you don't have to, like, if you make a piece and you don't really like it that much, you can, I mean, I was looking through one of my books the other day that were my art journal, and there was a piece I made I didn't really like, but it's okay. But I was looking through it and I'm like, oh, I know what could make that better. And that's been months ago. So you can always change it a year later if you want, you know?
Yeah. Well, and that's the advice that they always give writers. You're writing the great Canadian or the great American novel. You need some distance from it. You
Yeah.
need to put that manuscript away and pick it up maybe a month later. And then the mistakes or the solutions or the problems will become evident, and you're in the right frame of mind to fix them.
Yeah. And another thing too, like if you're working on a big project, it's okay to split it up. Like me, I'm one of those people, when I want to get something done, I want to work on it till it's done. Like, start a painting and 5 hours later I could be working on it. If it's like a really intense piece, but I've learned I have to stop and take a break, maybe a day, maybe an hour, because you finally you can't, what's the word? You can't see the forest for the trees. You can't see what needs to be done. Your eyes get blinded. You have to keep your head clear, take breaks, take days, whatever you want. If you're a person like me.
Well, and the other advice I've heard in relation to that is, and you can tell me if you do this, have multiple projects on the go at the same time. So while something might be in the drying or the percolating stage, you can move on to something else, get that little bit of distance, get that little bit of time. You're still being creative. And then you look back at the original thing and you realize, like you said, you realize what the solution is, or you realize what is needed. And that way, I think, we've all probably been in the situation where we are almost like dogged about, I'm not leaving this till I'm done. And it gets so that you can't see,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you're looking at that, maybe this one little square inch on a 30-inch canvas, and you just need, as you said, to see the forest, not just that one leaf on that one tree,
Yeah. Yeah,
because it can get obsessive.
I used to have more projects in the works than I used to when I was doing canvases. But now that I'm doing the art journaling and stuff, like watercolor journaling and stuff, I can usually finish it within an hour or two. But I do that a lot with journals, though. I will make it and put everything in it I know that I can put in it, then I'll put it away because I'm tired of it and I don't want to see it anymore. Like my cat journal, I got it put away. I'll get back to it and finish it sometime. So
So you have, I guess, a whole series of sketchbooks or that you just keep adding to, and as you fill them,
mhm.
um, just start a new one. And so there's a progression to the, you can see your process and your progress.
That's happened since I moved in this small apartment, because I used to do canvases. I love painting on canvas or mixed media or whatever. But I used to get out and sell them, but I can't do that anymore. So I still want to create art, so I have to make it smaller in a book. You know?
Yeah.
And
And have you ever done any, like obviously you took part in the my Masterboard Madness. Do you do you like collage, and have you ever done glue books?
oh yeah, I got me a glue book going here too. I did one and finished it a couple of years ago, and recently I started getting back into it again. And yes, I love collage. So
Well, so that's great. So, um, yeah, I think glue books have just exploded too. So when you do a glue book, do you
and
set a theme for yourself, or do you just do whatever the spirit moves you?
well, usually I go through my images and I try to find something I like, and then I try to find things to go with it. I may not use them all, but I give myself a few choices because I'll go crazy if I give myself too many choices. But I try to
Yeah.
make the scene might not make sense, but I try to make it look like a kind of a theme. Let me see if I have it here. Oh, uh, so, and I've been doing it. See, like this one, there's like pinks and it
Oh,
says,
yeah.
like, there's a shopping bag and perfume and dishes, and it says Vogue and shop and so I try
Yeah.
to do a little bit of a theme, but they don't always
Yeah.
make sense.
I have one that I thought would be like a guiding principle. And that's an A to Z one, you know, where the spread is dedicated to A words, B words, C words, and so on. And because I've been caught up in so many other non YouTube or non studio stuff lately, I'm just itching to get back to just some plain old cutting and gluing
Yeah,
because I think it causes a real ache in us when we don't.
it's really fun, and as many glue bookers as there's different ways that people do them. If you watch
Yeah.
5 videos in a row, they're all going to be different. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Martha, it has been a slice talking to you.
well,
I
thank
am
you so much.
again so impressed with some of the things you've said and the fact that you haven't let vision issues stop you from succeeding. And you know, and again, and I don't know if it comes with, you know, us being kind of a certain age where we just think, yeah, you know, it's like that poem, when I get old, I'm going to wear purple. The whole idea that if you want to eat dessert first, you eat dessert first. If you want to, like, we're finally free to do what we want to do.
Yes.
You know, we're not having to be answerable to anybody. So I'm glad that you're taking full advantage of that and making your life as satisfying and fulfilling as it seems that you are, through your art. And I want to obviously thank the people who were here today for the live, and anyone who will be watching again during replay. You know, I mean, Martha and I would have talked if nobody was watching, but it's a pleasure to have the interaction. And Ellie, I'm glad you joined us. I hope you come back. There is a calendar on my YouTube posts page that lays out who's you know, who's scheduled when, and so that's always a way to kind of know what's what and what's happening. Anyway, my dear,
Well,
thank
thank
you
you
so much for being here.
for inviting me. I really enjoyed it, and I appreciate you. So,
Yes. Um, Jennifer's saying it's been great, great questions. Oh, and Teresa, I made it to the end. Yay. She's going to some kind of a council meeting. So you can imagine how much fun that's going to be. Like poking yourself in the eye with a sharp stick.
yeah, almost as bad as going to the DMV.
And Gigi was here too. I think, was Gigi our last guest before? Yeah, I think so. Before um, we entered June. Um, so I just wanted to say, oh, and Denise. So Denise is new to you, Martha. So that's great.
Right.
Um, I think the putzing around that we did with the setup and with the lighting and your background and all of that, I think it really works. And I think, and the glasses are a nice touch because, you know, they make you look smart.
I,
So if you
I,
if you if you do a face forward thing like this again, try to recreate that setup because I think it really works.
well,
And people get to see your art.
I do have one um, where I did my giveaway. I mean, my 60th birthday thing, giveaway thing. So when I announced it, I did a forward facing. You know, you can see my face.
Yeah. And good choice of lipstick too.
Oh, yeah, my favorite.
Okay, guys, thank you so much. And like I said, next week it's Julie, so hope you can all make it for that. Anyway, guys, have a lovely evening and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Thanks, Martha.
Thank you. That was fun.